All right, so section 4 of Unit 1, the last section. This one is actually going to be something different than you've previously learned for the most part. So we've been doing a lot of review from last year. Now, in this section, we're going to be talking about radicals and square roots. So a radical, when I say radical, I just mean we're talking about this sign, this symbol. Normally, we've called it square root. Later on in the year, we're going to call it cube root or just a root. So that's why I call it radical. So whenever there's no number right here, there's always an imaginary 2 there. There's an imaginary 2 on every single one of these if you don't see a number there. What that 2 is telling us is that we need 2 of the same number inside of the square root, and they can get out. So I have a couple different analogies for this. So one is, imagine this radical sign or radical symbol is an escape room. It's a radical escape room. So in order to get out of this escape room, a number needs to find its exact twin, its exact match. Once it finds its exact match, it can get out. If it cannot find its exact match, it cannot get out. So what I mean by that, let's do the first example here. So I need to figure out what 2 numbers I can multiply to equal 49. So I happen to know that 49 is also 7 times 7. So if I multiply 7 times 7, I will get 49. Notice that we have a pair of 7s, or 2 7s. So this 7 found its exact twin, so they both merge and get out. So our answer would be 7. Now in the next one, we're going to do the same thing. So what 2 numbers multiply to equal 48? So there's a few different choices you could have. What comes to mind to me is 8 times 6. So what we need to do is we need to continue to break down these numbers until we have all prime numbers in here. So can we multiply any numbers to equal 8? Well, yes, so we need to keep going. So 8 is also 4 times 2. Can we multiply any numbers to equal 6? Well, yeah, 3 times 2. So 3 times 2. So can we multiply, or can we break any of these numbers down, or are they all prime? Well, 4 is 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then I'm just going to bring down everything else. So 2 times 3 times 2. So now if you look at all of these numbers, there's nothing else I can break down. They are all prime numbers. The only numbers that go into these are 1 in itself. So now what I want to look for is pairs. So I got a pair of 2s right there. I got another pair of 2s. So once you find your pair, one goes away, the other comes out. One goes away, the other comes out. So everything that I've circled is no longer inside of the radical. So the only thing that's not circled is that 3, so that means 3 is going to come out. And then what came outside of the radical? Well, one of these 2's and one of these 2's. So I'm going to have a 2 times 2. So that means my answer is going to be 4 root 3. So I'm going to do the same thing on the next example. So negative square root. What 2 numbers multiply to equal 88? Well, I know that 8 times 11 is 88. So I can't break down 11, but I can break down 8. So 4 times 2 times 11, and then 2 times 2, and then times 2 times 11. So now I can no longer break down those numbers. They are all prime. So we have a pair of 2's right here. So one goes away, the other one comes out. So negative 2. So notice the 2 and this 11 were not circled because they don't have a pair. They don't have a exact match of each other, so they have to stay in there. So 2 times 11 will stay in there. So our answer will be negative 2 times the square root of 22. And then over here, two numbers that multiplied equal 104, sorry. So I know that 2 times 52 is 104.